My name is Emma Gomez. I was 21 the night my family decided I wasn't their daughter anymore, just their solution. I'm the oldest, the quiet one, the one who resets the Wi-Fi when it drops, shovels the driveway before anyone asks, and keeps receipts folded into a shoebox under my bed because someone has to remember how the lights stay on. I work part-time at a hardware store and take night classes for accounting. Numbers make sense. People don't. I like clean lines. Groceries on the right shelf. Gas filled before the needle hits empty. Alarm set 5 minutes early. Even numbers. In our house, respect means doing things mom's way. Discipline means doing them dad's way. If you ask them, I'm the responsible one. If you ask me, I'm the background music to everyone else's decisions. My younger sister, Kayla, is the headliner. She's creative, free-spirited, emotional, which, in our family, has always meant someone else picks up the tab. When I was 15, I bought my own used phone from mowing lawns. Kayla got a brand new iPhone because girls need safety. When I was 17, I paid for my prom dress with tips from the store. Kayla got lashes, a spray tan, and a limo because it's once in a lifetime. When I started college, I cooked rice and eggs and paid cash for textbooks. Kayla took a gap year to heal. So when mom texted me to come home at 6 for a surprise, I actually smiled. 21 is a big number. 2 decades and a bonus year. Maybe a cake. Maybe a quiet speech about how I turned out steady. Maybe pride. The kind my mother never says out loud. I walked in still wearing my red hardware polo. Balloons were tied to a chair, all the same color, like they bought whatever was cheapest. A banner hung crooked across the wall. Happy birthday. No exclamation point. The table was set, but the oven was cold. No smell of sugar, no candles, no cake. Kayla was on the couch scrolling, one leg tucked under her. Dad stood with his arms crossed like a coach waiting for a mistake. Surprise, Mom sang. Then she handed me a manila folder. Clip art balloons on the cover. A cheerful font printed at the top. Emma's adulting wish list. I laughed, on reflex. Okay, I said, what is this? Open it, Dad said. His voice had that tone, like he was about to grade me. Inside were 7 pages stacked neatly like a checklist. Water bill, cable and internet, family phone plan, Dad's truck insurance, Kayla's last 2 months of tuition, Grandma's prescription fund, and the HOA fee that had gone to collections after Dad forgot. Each page had a due date, a blank line beside amount paid by Emma, and at the bottom, stamped in block letters, 30 days. I blinked. Where's the cake? I asked. Mom smiled. Tight. Grown women don't get cake, she said. They get responsibility. Dad nodded, satisfied. Get used to discipline, sweetheart. You've got 30 days. Kayla didn't even look up from her phone. It's kind of cute, she said, meaning the folder. Pinterest vibes. The house hummed. The fridge, the fish tank, the cheap string lights Kayla never turned off. I stared at the pages. 7 little doors into my future, all labeled mine, because I turned 21. Is this a joke? I asked. My voice came out soft. It always does first. It's love, Mom said. We support each other. You're an adult now. I set the folder on the counter beside paper plates and plastic forks. There were no presents, just napkins with balloons printed on them, like the universe wanted the theme to make sense. Dad clapped my shoulder, a little too hard. Proud of you, he said, like I'd already agreed. Happy birthday, Kayla added, still scrolling. Nothing exploded, no yelling, no scene. The trigger wasn't fireworks. It was printer paper, numbers, and a smirk about cake. I nodded, because nodding is the language we speak here. Then I asked, do we have any ice? Kayla snorted. Mom raised an eyebrow. Ice is for children, Dad said. You're a grown woman. I pulled out a chair and sat. The banner stared back at me. Happy birthday, no exclamation point. It felt honest. Okay, I said, let's eat. There was nothing to eat, just the wish list on the table, and the sound of the freezer working overtime in a kitchen where cake never existed. I didn't say no that night. Not yet. I swallowed, smiled with my mouth closed, watched everyone play their parts. The folder waited. So did the clock. The first trigger had already been pulled. It just sounded like a printer. The money thing didn't start with 7 bills. It started with temporary. It always does. The family phone plan came first. It'll be cheaper if we put everyone on your account, Mom said, sliding her phone across the table like it was a favor. When I got my first debit card at 18, I didn't even know what a password was, she added. You're good with apps. It was $180 a month for 4 lines. Temporary, she said. Temporary became, you're so organized. Then Dad's truck insurance, just for a couple of months because his card was in flux, $142. Then the water bill, because the login was already my email anyway. $58. Then $62. Then $71 when the city raised rates. Then Netflix, since you watch it, even though I didn't. Then Hulu, then a streaming bundle I never opened. Little numbers, all with the same shape. My name, their lives. Kayla called money energy. She posted quotes about abundance and alignment while texting me screenshots of overdue notices. Can you front this? I'll Venmo you later. Later slid into never, then into, wow, don't be weird about money. At 16, I signed my first family agreement. Dad printed it at the library. Room and board for daughter, $200 a month. He said it would teach me discipline. When I asked what it covered, he said, everything. When I asked for receipts, he laughed, loud, until Mom told me I was being too clinical. I paid anyway. Once, when I was late by a week, Dad took my old gaming console as collateral. It disappeared into we needed gas. I started hiding cash in the dryer lint trap. My job at the hardware store came with expectations. Dad wanted tools at a discount because we put food in your mouth. Mom asked for a space heater. Kayla wanted paint for her mural project. My manager started watching me like I was stealing. I started saying no. Dad called me arrogant. Mom said I was forgetting where I came from. Community college drained what was left. I chose accounting because numbers don't cry. They don't accuse you of being cruel. Dad mocked it. Be an accountant, he'd say. Mom called me her little calculator when I refused to co-sign Kayla's car loan. Kayla called me the banker when I asked for the $83 she owed me for oat milk and gas. At dinner, the check would land and Dad would point without looking up. Emma's got it. At Christmas, Kayla got AirPods. I got socks and a lecture about investing. When Grandma's fridge broke, Mom ended the group chat debate with, Emma will handle it. I did. I put the fridge on my card. When Grandma tried to pay me back, Mom scolded her. We're not a ledger. But I am. I keep one on my phone. Dates, amounts, notes. Not as a weapon, just proof I wasn't imagining it. The birthday wish list was just the clean version of what we already lived. Water, $71. Cable/internet, $119. Phones, $180. Truck insurance, $142. Kayla's tuition, 2 months, $1,200. Grandma's meds, $94. HOA dues, plus late fees, $136. Subtotal, $2,242. Due date circled, 30 days. I asked why Kayla's tuition was on there. She has to finish her certification, Mom said. Kayla said healing isn't linear. She said the program ends with a white robe and folding chairs in a hotel ballroom. She'd already posted the robe on Instagram. Caption, soon. Dad said, a woman provides for her family. And he looked at me the way he looks at someone who should already know better. Then came the truck refinance. Dad slipped the folder across the table like it was nothing. It's not like we won't pay it, he said. It's for the family. The last time he said family like that, my credit took a hard inquiry I never authorized. He called me dramatic. Mom scheduled a meeting 2 days after my birthday. She loves meetings. Legal pad. Pen. Calm voice. Let's make a plan. She said I could cover the phones, water, HOA, and Grandma's meds. Dad said he'd cover the truck, if I co-signed. Kayla promised she'd pay me back once she launched her practice. She said it like she was opening a dental office. I asked quietly, what about cake? It slipped out. Mom's mouth tightened. We're talking about adults. Adults eat, I said. Dad leaned back. Smart mouth. Kayla rolled her eyes. Money is energy. Yours is too tight. I'm saving for a car, I said, for a deposit. For a life where I'm not a walking ATM. Mom tapped her pen. Don't be crass. This is family. The pressure wasn't the bills. It was the way they asked. I was supposed to be grateful for the chance to prove I was a woman by carrying debts I didn't make. They were counting on my silence. That night, Mom slid the folder toward me again while Dad flipped channels. Kayla practiced her graduation walk down the hallway, in the white robe she hadn't paid for. We'll all feel better once this is handled, Mom said, syrup sweet. I stared at the pages. I could see the future, how the list would grow, how 21 would slide into 25, then 30. All signed with, we raised you, you owe us. I need to think, I said. Dad smirked. 30 days. Kayla snapped a selfie with me blurred in the background. Caption, adulting vibes and no cake. That night, I sat on my bed and counted my cash. Scrolled my ledger. $20, $83, $140, $180. The problem wasn't money. It was ownership. And they thought they already had it. Mom scheduled it like a board meeting. Sunday, 5 o'clock. Star on the fridge calendar. Smiley face in the corner. Bring your plan, the sticky note said. The living room was rearranged when I came out of my room. Chairs in a circle, legal pads stacked on the coffee table, pens lined up like weapons. Dad sat wide on the couch, arms spread along the back like a coach who already knew the outcome. Kayla curled into an armchair, scrolling, her white robe folded neatly beside her like a prop. Mom sat closest to the folder, the manila one, 7 pages tucked under a coaster. My boyfriend, Lucas, wasn't there. Mom said this was family business. She opened with it, like always. We love you. In our house, that sentence always meant a bill was coming. She spoke calmly, carefully, listed everything out again. I would take the water, the cable, the phone plan, the HOA. Dad would handle his truck if I co-signed the refinance. Kayla would eventually pay me back for tuition. She used the word eventually like it was a date. Dad nodded along. Kayla sighed dramatically, like the weight of my existence was exhausting her. I waited until Mom finished. Then I said no. Silence. The kind that swells. Mom blinked. I'm sorry? No, I said again. I'm not doing that. Dad leaned forward. Watch your tone. I am, I said. My voice surprised even me. Steady. I'm not the family purse. I'm not co-signing anything. I'm not financing Kayla's program. Kayla scoffed. Wow, selfish. Dad's face darkened. After everything we've done for you? I stayed calm. You fed me, I said. I paid rent since I was 16. You took my console as collateral. You put your truck insurance on my card. I kept receipts. Dad slammed his hand on the armrest. Real women don't nickel and dime family. Real adults, I said, pay their own truck insurance. Mom's smile snapped. If this is how you're going to be, she said, then you're not welcome at holidays. Kayla rolled her eyes. Drama. I stood up. Here's my boundary, I said. No. At the door, I added, if it's about Grandma's meds, call me. I'll help her. Not the truck, not the HOA, not tuition. Dad tried to say my name like it was still his. It's my name, I said. I walked out. The sky was pink, too perfect for what it was witnessing. For once, I let it be. Not free, but steady. The meeting ended without applause. The folder stayed on the table. My name stayed with me. That night, I didn't cry. I acted. First, I froze my credit. All 3 bureaus. Pins written on an index card and slid into the shoebox of receipts. Second, I canceled my debit card, removed every authorized user, and ordered a new number. Third, I paid off the phone plan, split my line, and texted Mom the link. No commentary, just the link. Fourth, I transferred the water bill and HOA out of my name. Screenshots saved. Confirmations downloaded. Fifth, I changed every streaming password. Sixth, I closed Dad's emergency gas card. Seventh, I moved my savings to a new bank. 2-factor on. New email. I made a spreadsheet. I named it Exit. The text started immediately. Mom, this is petty. Dad, you're acting like a child. Kayla, WTF is wrong with you? I didn't reply. This wasn't punishment. It was housekeeping. At 10:42 p.m., Dad called. What did you do? He demanded. I protected my credit, I said. Your family, not my creditors. He hung up. Mom tried next. Kayla posted a black screen on Instagram with the word Betrayal in white text. Only Grandma checked in. Her message was gentle. I told her I'd handle her prescriptions directly. No middlemen. By morning, I had 43 missed calls. Dad pounded on my door. I texted back one word. Boundary. At work, Mike from Electrical asked if I needed a room. $600 a month to month. I said yes. That night, I packed what was mine. Clothes, laptop, the shoebox, a mug. I left the trophies, left the handprints on the wall. I taped a note inside my closet. I'll help Grandma, not the rest. Don't come to my job. I changed my number, gave it only to Grandma, Lucas, my boss, and Mike. Then I went to the grocery store, bought myself a $30 cake, single candle, 21. I lit it in a kitchen that didn't know my family's voices. It tasted like sugar and relief. 2 days later, the HOA tried billing me again. I forwarded proof. Wrong party. Send. Mom kept trying. We can undo this. Come home. Dad sent a photo of his truck. Kayla posted another robe photo with clapping emojis. Aunt Linda left a voicemail about forgiveness. I did laundry. I went to work. My new budget had 3 lines. Rent. $600 utilities. $90 savings. $300. The rest was mine. For the first time, the math belonged to me. A week later, Mom texted again. If you sign the refinance, you can come to Thanksgiving. I replied once. I'll be with friends. I didn't forget the cake. I reclaimed it.